And we're live. How you doing, Ma? We are here again today.
I am doing wonderful. The sun is shining, it's beautiful, but I am praying for Florida today. I was
Yeah,
down on my knees for Florida this morning, but I am doing wonderful. Thank God.
that's awesome. Today we have planned to talk about how we create balanced raw vegan meals to banish chronic pain and inflammation without surgery or risky drugs. So my question for you, have you ever experienced chronic inflammation or pain in your body in your life? And if so, what impact did it have on your work and daily activities?
Okay. When the chronic pain that I had, and it was real chronic, was when I was sick with when I got the pain in my fingers, and it first started with trigger finger. If most people aware of what that is, and the trigger finger creates such a big problem that I couldn't even hand wash. I couldn't do my hand wash. I couldn't use my hands to do anything. I couldn't squeeze. I couldn't open my bottle. I couldn't do anything with my hand. I was dependent on my left hand. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I went raw for 6 weeks. Um, and I stay raw for 6 weeks, and I got, I would say, 90% better, because nothing is 100 for me right now. 90% better. And now I can open a bottle, I can hand wash, I can do things with my hand. The pain that I'm feeling, I wouldn't let it handicap me right now. I'm fine with that. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my biggest experience with pain.
What was your experience with conventional treatments? Like what was the doctor telling you before you
Oh, yeah.
decided to go raw?
I think we went over that last week, right? But it's okay for me to
Not
say it
not
again.
on Yeah, not on this show. We've never did it on this show.
Okay, all right. Okay, what I did, I went to the doctor, and he prescribed some medication for me to take for the pain. And first, he wanted to give me an injection, but I didn't have time to do the injection because I had to go to a funeral in Europe. And it wouldn't give me enough time because I had to go back to Brooklyn to get the injection. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
just give me the pill. I'll take the pill. It will work in 3 days. He prescribed the pill. The pain was so bad, so I would do anything that day. Trust me. He prescribed the pill. And when I got the pills from the pharmacy, the first thing written on the paper was, this can cause a heart attack. I put the paper down, and I put the pill down, and I put it away. I still have the bottle of pill just to remind myself that it can cause a heart attack. So I never take any conventional nothing. I didn't even take aspirin. He told me I could take Tylenol, I could take Advil. I didn't take nothing, nothing for it until
Mm-hmm.
I start when I came down to you, and that's when I started on the raw, and it helped my hand. But no, I didn't take anything.
So
Oh
what
yeah, what I did, right? What did I do? Yeah, I didn't take anything. I just did what your husband tell me to do, to drink the turmeric and the cayenne pepper to help alleviate the inflammation that's in my body. But this pain in my finger was caused from trigger pain. So, but I didn't do any. I didn't take no conventional medicine. No, I did not.
mm-hmm,
For,
mm-hmm.
as far as what I can remember, because I haven't swallowed any. I don't have a Tylenol in my house.
How come?
I don't believe in painkillers. No, I don't. Because what it is, it don't take care of the problem. It's just what painkiller does, it ease you for a moment, and then it coming back. And to me, that works on my mind. I keep thinking the pain coming back. So why should I take it? And then I think
Mm-hmm.
of my kidneys. Painkiller destroy your kidneys. I didn't want to have kidney problem. I rather go through the pain than mess up my kidneys.
I know for me in particular, someone who has had a history of acid reflux, so I have to be very mindful. I think like my digestive system keeps me honest and on track with my food, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to eat all the stuff that I used to enjoy, the breads, the oatmeals, all the things, and to forget about eating greens and stuff like this. You have to be really intentional about eating greens.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, and but my digestive system keeps me honest about this. And there's this doctor, her name is Sherry Rogers. She wrote a book about heartburn and acid reflux. And I feel like the first half of the entire book is all about how much NSAIDs and these painkillers destroy your gut and destroy your digestive system. And so we end up having all these issues, which, on the far end extreme, what it could turn into is esophageal cancer, and nobody wants that, So, I that's why I'm always shocked when people run to Advil and Tylenol and these other pills, and they're even giving their little babies this, because I guess
Yeah.
it's been so normalized to as a fast action treatment, but it's like all of the damage that it actually does to your gut. And now we're seeing how important the gut microbiome is for our brain health, for our whole body health, hormonal balance, and all of that, our mood regulation, all of that. So that's really interesting. Can you share some specific like raw meals that you enjoyed since you had this pain in your hand? The pills, they were saying it was a warning sign on it, basically, that it could cause these problems that you didn't want to deal with. And so you went to raw foods. What meals specifically did you find the most helpful in decreasing that inflammation in your hand?
I cannot really say pinpoint one that do it because I eat them all. So I eat a combination of it. When I do raw, I do it really as a meal, and that's my main entree. Like
Mm-hmm.
when people order in the restaurant, your main entree would be a fish or Sierra Leone steak or whatever. Mine would be a bowl of salad. And what I have as my side dish would be some quinoa or some brown rice with quinoa. But
That's
as
your
far as this,
regular, right?
yeah, but that's like a side dish. My main meal would be a bowl of salad, which made with cucumbers, onion. I love onion. Um, Radish, bell pepper, celery. I love celery, so I chop the celery up and put it in there. Tomatoes, um, spring salad, which is green leafy lettuce and kale and spinach and chard and all those stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my main entree. It's not a side dish. That's my main. Like I could just have that alone and be satisfied. And
So
so it's hard
I,
to tell which one helped the problem.
yeah.
And then again, I do I do beet and carrot salad. I combine them together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to pinpoint which one because when I eat, that's how I eat. I eat a combination of those things.
Right. So the time
Yeah.
that you were doing 6 weeks completely raw, right? What meals were you putting together? And also, like, one of the things that I hear a lot from folks is that they're tired of eating salads all the time. So
I would
did
never be
you
tired. I would never be tired.
did
I
you
tell you
so
one thing, if I run
mhm.
out of salad, it's like the house will be full with food. But if I run out of salad, it's like nothing is in the house. Nothing. I had to run to the store this morning to make sure I get my baby kale and my spring salad. I cannot do without it.
Mhm.
I can't go a day without salad. So
Do you find that you get variety like every couple days with your meals?
yeah, yeah.
How do you incorporate variety? How does that work? How do you make sure that you don't get bored with your meals?
Man, I can pep up my salad. I mean, you might not agree with me. I put hemp seed over mine. I sometimes go overboard a little and put a little pickle, sweet pickle or, pickle. I put what's that name? But that thing name in the jar again. You can eat it raw also, but mine comes in a jar. I put stuff in mine that really pep up my salad, make it, and I don't buy salad dressing. I make my own.
Hmm.
Yes.
So how are you for the dressings? Like, what is like your favorite dressing that you like to put together?
I do the raw cashew dressing, and sometimes I just use basmati vinegar, and I put a little bit of agave in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I put all-purpose season, the organic all-purpose season, and little garlic, and mix it together and sprinkle it over my salad, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing I was trying to remember was artichokes. I love me some artichokes, so I put that in my salad. So my salad is delicious. I look forward to having my salad. So, as a matter of fact, I can have salad. We start this thing. I think when we were at a funeral in Florida, you and I, we was at a hotel or wherever it was in order to improvise because we couldn't go no place and get no food, but we went there we get salad and we had salad for. Remember we had salad for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had it with bread, but it was just nice. And I still continue sometimes if I don't feel like having certain things for breakfast, I'll have a salad for breakfast. I don't mind having salad 2 or 3 times a day. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I noticed that when I have, because I typically like to have fruit at the top of the day. It just works better for my digestive system to have fruit at the top of the day and then the more savory foods later on in the day. But I also find that when I eat what would normally be considered like a dinner for breakfast, then I have better blood sugar balance throughout the day. Like my mood and energy level doesn't change, and I think this is where it's really important for people to like experiment with their body, because you see a lot of things online that people say, and it may be true for those people, and we even have scientific studies that may show a certain thing, right? But we also know with every study, there are outliers, right? Yeah. And are you in the majority, or are you an outlier? We wouldn't know until we actually experiment, because everyone's gut microbiome is unique to them, right? It's as unique as your fingerprint. So the right diet for you may not really, mimic some of these other people that you're seeing on the internet. Am I freezing for you? Because I see that we just got disconnected from LinkedIn again for some reason, and it looks like I'm freezing. Am I freezing?
No, you're not freezing. No,
okay.
No, everything is fine.
Because I'm in Central Florida, and Milton might be coming through. I don't know if Milton's disrupting the connection.
Anyhow, they have a saying to say you should eat breakfast like a king. So having your salad for breakfast, you're eating like a king. And you must have dinner like a pauper, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I could actually have dinner at breakfast time. But as I said, I don't mind having salad for breakfast. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I get so used to eating the things I eat raw, that it don't bother me to eat it anymore. I mean, I just eat it. It don't bother me.
And you had a concern before about cold food, right? When it comes to raw foods.
But I know how to fix it.
Yeah, because now we're in fall season, and I know folks are thinking, like, I know even me, my diet has changed going into fall. I like to eat very seasonally, and I'm not 100% raw. I eat high raw. But I like to incorporate this time the root vegetables, the squashes, like delicata squash I've had in the past month, butternut squash I've had in the past month, beets. I'm doing a lot of beets right now, and it makes me feel good. I feel really happy, and my gut seems to be really happy, and I think that's essential to rotate your vegetables and things like this, and eat in alignment with with your local, like where you are locally and the season that you're in. Um, for you in particular, what are you doing during this season change? Has your diet changed at
No,
all?
my diet don't change. You know, it's funny. Um, I might have to do something to get it a little more exciting, but I don't think it can be more exciting than it already is, because I don't wait for season to eat squash.
Mm.
I have butternut squash right through the week because I never, in my house, it's a tradition. You have soup every day. Doesn't matter what meal you're gonna have, you have a cup of soup. I make pumpkin and ginger, butternut squash, lentil green or lentil red, or then I sometimes do black bean soup. So it's a variety. So it's my kitchen is pretty festive when it come on to stuff like that. I don't wait until the season for it. Once it's in the supermarket, I'm getting it.
You just gave me an idea for a recipe book. Where's your inspiration for these recipes for your soups?
Just I go I go on YouTube a lot to see things. I do. I go. I go on YouTube and search for recipes and stuff. Plus, I even had YouTube or know anything about YouTube, because I was never a YouTuber. I
Mm-hmm.
was the 10 talent person, the 10
Oh, the
talent cookbook
book. Yeah.
from the Seventh Day Adventist Church. So I get a lot of ideas from them, but I just use their thing and go a little further, because sometimes they'll show you things, but they don't give you the instruction. They'll show you, this is it, you can use it and do this. But I go on YouTube and find the recipes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So when it come on to recipes and stuff like that, that's where I get them from. It helps a
Yeah.
lot to give you a variety of season and the Mediterranean season and all that, which I love. Mediterranean food. I like your seasoning. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of the seasoning that we use, you and I use, they're really Mediterranean seasoning, and they make your food taste nice.
Yeah, I mean, I use even like recently I've been using a lot of Cajun spice, so I don't really stay, you know, uh Mediterranean, but I know you like certain spices too, and I know when you come, okay, I'm using dill, I'm using parsley, I'm
I'm
using
using ginger.
yes,
Okay.
cayenne
Yeah.
pepper, I know the spices you like, so I know when you come, okay, the recipes have to hit these notes, right? These
Yeah.
spice notes. But I like a broad range of different things. So right now I'm on
Yeah.
occasion I'm on
But
occasion binge,
that's
I
what
guess.
yeah. Because sometimes you can use those things and give your food a different taste. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you don't, you just don't make it simple. You just pep it up a little.
Yes. So like this past week, I've been using sunflower seeds to make pates, and I put that in like a romaine lettuce leaf, and that's like a taco. And even with the pate, it's different every time. Even though like the main ingredients are the same, but the spices change, which give it a different flavor, And then when you add to it, so like when I put it together and I crush and I chop up red bell pepper and I'm adding olives, because olives I'm eating now. It's a different flavor. So yeah,
So
it's like for me personally, I don't get bored because I don't know. There's always something new in the grocery store in the produce area that's like, oh, I haven't eaten this in a long time, or I've never tried this. Let me try this, or I've never tried this like this. Let me try it
yeah.
like that. So
Well, talk about romaine lettuce. That's one of my favorite wrap. I remember you gave me coconut wrap and those different. I don't those things I don't like. I don't know. I just don't like them. But when I wrap my stuff in romaine lettuce, I enjoy it better
yeah.
because I love romaine lettuce. And for people who don't understand how to wrap, it is very simple because if you have toothpick, it hold it nice together. Just make sure you don't bite down on the toothpick. But it's sometimes because the lettuce is so stiff, you have to roll and tie and pin it down, roll and pin it down.
Yeah.
And then you can slice it the way you want it or do it the way you want it. But it's very, very nice to put your stuff in the to wrap it in. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I make quinoa salad. Like I make my spring salad and I make the quinoa in there. And I'll use the romaine lettuce and make a wrap. And it come out very nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It make nice quick if you want something quick and easy. It's very.
So when it comes to pain in your body, the 6 weeks really alleviated the pain in your
Yes, it
hand.
did.
You
Hmm.
also lost 11 pounds in those 6 weeks, and
Yes.
you weren't actually looking to lose 11 pounds. When we started, you wanted to maintain your weight actually.
I wanted
And
to maintain my 150. I was 151, and came down to 140, and I'm still 140. It's not moving.
right. So we know those 11 pounds basically was, I could say that was the excess fat contributing to probably the inflammation, extra inflammation in the body, because if you have kept it off and you haven't been 100% raw this whole time, it was just fat that didn't need to be there that's now gone, you
Right?
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes I know, like with some people, some people, they love the fact that you can lose fat with raw foods, and other folks are like, I don't want to lose any weight at all. And that's why I'm not going raw, like, so it could be a incentive for some people and can be a hindrance for some people. And do you remember what I told you at the beginning, like how to maintain a healthy weight, right? Like what we should be thinking about when we think about weight and your concern about around losing weight on raw foods. Do you remember what I said to you?
If you're concerned, when you tell me about to do strength training, like right, yeah, okay. So now that you touch that subject, I wish my greens and my raw would help the issue that I'm having with my back, but it's a two different thing. I have what you call a bulging disc, and that's the only pain that I'm going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing my strength training and I was doing so fine, but did not realize that it was making that bulging disc to come back again. So now I have to go back to therapy. So to find out now what exercise, which I kind of know now, what exercise not to do when you have bulging disc, because
Mm-hmm.
these things that they give you therapy, it never get better. Those bones, this functional bones, they never get better. It just stay there for a while till you do and pull something and then it come back. Because yesterday I was doing something, I exercise on the floor for bulging disc, and I heard something go. It sounds like my bulging disc went back in place.
Hmm.
And I said, that's kind of strange. I actually felt it. Like, when you go to the chiropractor, because I hear people say that, and they do something to your body and you could hear the bones. That's why I heard the
Mm-hmm.
bone in my back. But let me knock on wood. From yesterday till today, I don't feel any bulging disc bothering me, but I have an appointment to go to the physical therapy, and I'm still going. Yes.
Yeah.
I wish my greens could fix that, but unfortunately,
Yeah, unfortunately, food doesn't fix everything. And in relation to your story, I could kind of relate because I've had this issue for the past, I don't know, I would say maybe 3 years, like 3 Poland trips ago, where I have this really like bad pain in my neck. And my first trip to Warsaw, it was so bad, like the worst pain I had ever felt in my life. It felt like someone put a slab of cement from a new building on my head, and every time I would try to get up, it was just so painful. And I got a X-ray in Warsaw, and they showed me that my spine was straight. The neck, right, was just completely straight, and they said I would need, I guess, physical therapy or whatever, right? So I came back And there were some exercises I had to do. But what I've learned in the process since then, because sometimes it triggers again if I'm sleeping on the pillow wrong, and then I'll wake up and it's like my whole day, my neck, I have no range of motion and I have extreme pain down in the muscle of my neck. And then it's tugging on the nerves in my ear, like it's just really uncomfortable. But how I correct it is I have to sleep in a certain position to preserve the natural curve of the neck. So yeah, as you mentioned, this is why we have different healthcare professionals who all have a specialty that's needed, right? So you have the integrative nutrition folks like myself who bring in the nutrition to support the body, alleviate the pain, and whatever cytokine storms could be happening in the body from food related stuff, and also stress related things, not having proper balance in your life and that type of thing. But then you have also the physical therapists, which are amazing, right? They do amazing work.
Yes, they are.
When muscles and bones and ligaments, are out of whack, right? And causing issues. Maybe because of sedentary lifestyle or a lifestyle where you're standing too much or you just put too much pressure on the body in some shape or fashion, right? They can help course correct. And then you have the physicians to help with diagnostic tools like the x-ray that I did, and like recently you had a checkup too, where you do your annual checkups for all the stuff, So all of the folks, all of your professionals in the health and wellness world, in the medical realm, they all have a role to play in helping you with your health. Yes, not everything is food related. We do want to, support the body as much as possible with food when we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are trained professionals. Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So, what are your go-to raw foods for pain relief, or do you have any? Like when you have pain in the body, or do you even? Because I know already at the top of the morning you're already starting off with some anti-inflammatory foods.
Yes,
so you probably don't even deal with a lot of stuff. Most people are, because now
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly don't get pain in my body. Let me be truthful. The pain that I get in my body, I used to get like a touch of knee pain, like a little needle stick. That's what it feel like. And I think when I had the weight on, that was a problem because I think I shared a story with you before. And I am not doing fat shaming. Just please be careful, everyone. Listen to me very careful. This was my personal testimony because everything I asked God for, just about everything, that He supplied my needs. And one of the things I asked Him for, I said, please God, don't let me be old and overweight. Because when you walk, I have stairways in my house. And when you walk in the stairway and you have weight on, it does give your knee a problem because your whole body, all the weight is going down on those knees. And God answered my prayer. So that's why He kept me at 140 right now. So I can walk, I can run up the stairs. I try not to run up the living room stairs because it have carpet, but I try to run up the stairway from the basement because the carpet is commercial carpet. It's safer that way. And I do that. I can run up the stairway at 72, and I'm grateful. So if I was having pain in my knee, I couldn't do it. But because of the issue of my back, I still have to be very careful. But as long as your knee can bend, you're okay,
Yeah.
As long as the knee can bend. And thank God I bend them. I use them. Because
bend them. You remind me of this soca song, bend over and bend. There's a song like that.
I can bend over. I'm not supposed to bend over with bulging discs. You're supposed to squat.
Yeah.
So I use that as a form of exercise now. I do a lot of squatting. Squat. Because the squatting is good for your back. As long as you're not bending over, your knee, when you squat, your knees have to bend.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, did I answer it though?
I think you said some really great things. Like First of all, it seems like I like to live in the world of everything is happening for my good. You know, God, this is not happening against me, but God is trying to show me something or teach me something in this hard time or this struggle or this challenge. And you mentioned the bulging disc, right? Which is just at times very painful, and at other times just a huge inconvenience. You're on a roll with your your exercise routine, and then boom, bulging disc, and just kind of disrupts everything. But now, because of that, you're learning a lot more about some crucial areas of your body, and the muscles in particular, right, that need to be stronger to support you in this stage of your life. Yes. Which is crucial. Like, that's what I do with my trainer. Even this past week, we worked back, and he's like, we're not just going to do upper back, we're also going to do lower back. And I'm like, lower back? Why would we want to work my lower back? But I get the impression if you make those muscles stronger, kind of like the issue I was having with my ankle, where just walking, I was feeling stabbing pain in my ankle, and going to physical therapy, I learned it's because those small ligaments in the foot, the stabilizer muscles, were weak. And all I needed to do was strengthen the muscles of my foot, and I wouldn't feel the stabbing pain, I'm like, really? Wow. Yes. Amazing. I didn't know that, right? That was never part of my curriculum or training, right? But the physical therapist, that's what they do, right? So
because it's all connected.
It's all connected, right? But there's just so much to learn about the body. You go into the muscles, you understand the fascia, you talk about the knee pain. My history with knee pain has to do with fascia, where under my right knee cap, I used to feel this tearing pain, right? And part of it is, yes, we want to build up the strength of the leg and the muscles there, but sometimes, especially if you don't stretch, knots can form, right? The muscle can get really tight, and the fascia can kind of squeeze up, almost like if you think about a blanket that you roll up in certain sections, and they're like these balls, right? That you have to kind of roll out and stretch it out in order to not feel that pain,
Right. Yeah.
These are some of the things that, when we just focus on nutrition, we don't necessarily think about these things, but yet they do impact our holistic health, because being able to be active is part of maintaining quality of life and independence as we age. So it's important to keep that in mind.
And proper nutrition is the key to everything, because other than my bulging disc, if I wasn't eating the way I eat and taking care of myself the way I take care of myself, there's a lot of things I could be facing right now. So I know that staying the right nutrition is important, and exercise is important.
Yeah. You mentioned too about you want to make sure that you don't get older and have the fat on. And it had me thinking, I know I have these really memorable moments from when Grandma, your mother, was sick. And, the whole experience of that for almost 2 decades, basically, of me watching her, go through that. And from my recollection, when I dive into my mind, and it wasn't just her, my dad's mother too, we both saw she had diabetes too, and was sedentary, right? Because she had joint pain. But the solution to all of this, the type 2 diabetes, the joint pain, is first and foremost, foundationally, the nutrition. The nutrition. Because what I saw with Grandma, your mother in particular, is that she was mobile. She was able to go up and down stairs. And then she started taking the meds, and then she couldn't go up and down stairs. So it's what came first? Was it the diagnosis, or was it the excess fat? Or I should say the obesity, because when she was sedentary and basically limited to just the top floor, she was obese at that point, right? That would be considered according to the BMI charts, what the medical system is using, she would
You
be
know, my
obese.
mom was obese, but she never gone over 190 pounds.
And she was how tall?
But because she was about 5'4" she got
Okay.
shorter. She got shorter when she got older because she was. I used to see her as a tall person, but she was 5'4".
Yes. 5'4", 190 puts you at obesity.
Right, but what I'm trying to say, like, she never gone over 190. You know,
Right,
like,
but regardless, 5'4", according
but
to the medical charts,
she had huge stomach. Her stomach was
yes.
the fattest part of her body.
Right, which is the most dangerous area to have the fat. But the point that I'm trying to make is that she didn't get that way before the medication. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, when she
Correct
started
me,
taking,
correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because I remember her. I remember, no, tell me. I remember her. You would have more because you were more connected to her doctor's visits and all that. But I remember her being in the basement, chasing me around. And then all of a sudden she was diagnosed and taking all these pills. And then she blew up.
yeah, she blew up. She blew up from the medicine, and I asked the doctor about it, and the doctor says that because of the steroids in the drugs. That's what he says.
Which drugs?
The medication she was taking, the steroids in it. They have steroids in this, and they have steroids in that, and steroids and steroids, and that's what caused her to be big. And because she couldn't move the way she used to move, she was bedridden. You
Yeah.
understand? That's why movement is very, very good for you. Like sitting down here talking to you right now, doing this right now, it's not one of my favorite things. So we're gonna arrange it that we can we're gonna arrange it that we can stand and talk. I don't sit for this long.
Yeah. You need a
I,
standing desk. I have a standing desk.
we can work on one of those. But
Yeah.
because but I'll be moving so much I'll make people dizzy. But I like to
Or
move.
next week we could be in the kitchen and make a dish. We can make maybe one of the Halloween recipes. Speaking of which,
I don't do Halloween.
oh, but you're gonna love my Halloween recipe book, Ma. This, and then for all of you who are wanting to do something fun and kind of dip your toe in the raw food world, raw food waters for some healthy Halloween treats, definitely download my Halloween recipe book. You can just type Halloween in the comments of wherever you're watching this. Right now we are live on Facebook and YouTube. We were live on LinkedIn, but it seems like something went wrong there. But just comment Halloween, and I will send you the link to the recipe book so you could try it. So maybe next week you could stand up and I'll stand up and we'll all be in the kitchen making something fun for Halloween. Because we can actually change the marketing around Halloween so it's less death and destruction and more life giving.
Well, we call it the pumpkin holiday.
Is that what you want to make? You want to make something with pumpkin?
Maybe some pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup.
With
Okay.
ginger to show people how simple it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if you could do that raw. I'm not really into doing,
No, you can't have raw pumpkin. It has to cook.
well, they do sweet potato raw. People do. I don't, but people do. Some people, yeah.
I think they say something about root vegetable that you have to really cook it though. It's some of them. I don't know. I'm gonna find out what kind of pumpkin can
These,
be
yeah,
eaten raw.
but squashes are squashes. I wouldn't consider them root vegetables.
Oh, they squash, yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpkins.
But I don't know. That will be our homework to see what.
I'm gonna research it.
I
Yeah.
personally am not that big of a fan of pumpkin, but
I love
um
You'd love my pumpkin soup. Once you have it, you'll never stop having pumpkin soup.
yeah, okay. You promise?
Your dad, that's one of your dad's favorite soup now, pumpkin soup.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yes,
he loved everything that you put together.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. On that note, we we will wrap up there. I think we pretty much delivered on the promise on sharing how we create balanced raw vegan meals to banish chronic pain and inflammation without risky surgery or drugs. And hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you for the 3 of you who are on with us live. You could give us a shout out in the comments so I can see you and I can shout you out. But thanks so much for joining us live. And let me know if this episode was helpful, if there's anything else you would love for us to cover moving forward. Beulah, thanks so much. Beulah says, hey sis, Halloween is demonic celebration for witches. Wow. Whoa, she came in with the fire. A lot of people are ignorant of this. If you are Christian, you should not be practicing Halloween. I'm so concerned for the souls of people. Okay, Beulah, thank you so much for the comment. I know, Mom, you don't celebrate it. I know when I was younger, you were like, nah. But my aunt and her husband, they had 2 kids, my 2 younger cousins, and I used to go to their house, and my aunt would make up something for me to fit in with my cousins and have some kind of costume, and we would go door to door and do the trick or treating and stuff like this. You know, as a child of the 80s and 90s, right? It's more of like a fun child experience to me. And the concept of demonic is really interesting to me. But as we think about brain health, spirituality, like coming from a scientific perspective and how the spiritual world thinks about things, which I think would be a really interesting concept maybe for a future video on YouTube, because there is like, you know, when we think about some of the movies that are well known around Halloween time, right? Horror films and things like this. Even the most recent one, Deliverance, with Monique and Andra Day and Anjali Ellis, you know, I think that's how you pronounce her name, which was a really great film. I loved it. That, you know, where she talks about how basically her kids, they got into a haunted house and the kids were affected by this spirit or whatever. There's actually something going on in the brain when we see things and hear things that other people aren't seeing and hearing. There's an actual like physical harm and dysfunction that has happened to the brain while we're having that experience, and specifically the temporal lobes. So this will be really interesting maybe to do later on in the month and think about things. And like even too, like when we the concept of the devil is a liar in the Black church, you know, where they say the devil is a liar. Our thoughts, our mind and thoughts can do that to us as well, right? The brain acts in such a way where sometimes it's telling us these really negative things that are not us at all. You know, where do these thoughts come from? Some of it is coming from actually our gut microbiome. So when you eat some of this candy that they're giving out to kids during Halloween time, yes, it creates dysfunction in the brain that creates dysfunction later on, maybe plays out in some really dangerous ways or, you know, disturbing ways. And alcohol too, also, right, is another thing. We see what's going on with Diddy right now, and even the court artists. You know how they have the paintings of what's going on in the court, how they painted Sean Combs, P. Diddy. You could see almost like the devil horns in the eyebrows, right? And I've been noticing too, the shape of his face and his head has dramatically changed over the years, right? But he owns a liquor company, or used to. Ciroc, right? He was promoting that. So obviously I think that if you own a liquor company, most likely you drink liquor, right? You like liquor, and that's something you do. And we know how much alcohol damages the brain. Even if you quit years ago, you can still have some adverse consequences that come up later, just like with smoking. People are just like, oh my gosh, why am I having these issues with my lungs? I quit smoking years ago, but all that damage that was done, and you weren't really proactive to heal that damage, right? Now there's adverse consequences. The same thing with the alcohol. So I love Beulah. Thank you so much for bringing this into the conversation, because I would love to chat about that on the show and explore that, because I find the brain to be fascinating. And there are things that people in the church have noticed and seen and experienced. And we haven't even talked about the Catholic Church and some of the stuff that they like. I remember back in the day, there was a movie called Stigmata, and people really feel like this is true. Just like my grandmother-in-law with dementia, last year or 2 years ago, she was seeing stuff on the floor, Now her brain is in a better place. Obviously, she still has dementia, but she's not seeing the things. But you couldn't tell her then she wasn't seeing what she was seeing, right? She really believed it was there, And there is some truth to it. You do see those things, but there's a reason why you see it, Exactly. And it has to do with the health. Of your brain. Beulah. Beulah says, "Set in a place of love. Love, sis. You are truly humble for not getting offended." I can't. I can't. I know, because my mom is anti-Halloween. I was very much anti-Halloween for a long time, but only because of the health aspect. Because I feel like they're promoting dysfunction. And I see now, instead of trying to change, because I spent a lot of time, I'm almost 40, and I've gotten to the point in my life where I am tired of fighting what is. I'm not going to fight culture, right? Mm-hmm. Halloween is here to stay, right? But how can we make it healthier, right?
And I'm 72. I've never been trick or treat. Never. I don't believe to have your kids go out and beg for anything, because they poison the children. There's nothing good about it, period, as far as me concerned. I worry about the children. I stay in the basement around Halloween time. I don't open my front door. I clean up. I make sure I remove trash and everything. I'm not a part of it. Yeah. And I'm very sorry. And I'm not offended by people who want to celebrate it. That's their choice. But I'm going to be living by my choice that I make. And I make my choices to do anything that's good. Anything that's bad, I don't participate in it.
Yeah.
Amen.
God put me here on a mission, and it's nutrition focused. And I'm like, well, we have an audience on Halloween where these kids are coming around. I think that is a great opportunity to put in some plant-based nutrition. Yes. A book in their little trick-or-treat bag, or a fruit or some fruits. And I understand if the parents trust them enough to go around and do that, and you are a conscious person, right? You're not trying to hurt nobody. Give them something healthy to walk away with. It's up to their parents to really monitor what they're getting, if they're letting their kids do this. I remember as a young person, I just wanted to, at that age, I love spending time with my cousins. Well, specifically my cousins, because my cousin D and J, since I'm not just putting them on blast, I'll just put their acronyms. I like spending time with them, and they were going trick-or-treating, and I didn't want to not be with them, So I get that. And now we know from neuroscience that a child's brain is actually, biologically, they are so pressed to be part of the tribe, right? It has to do with their developing brain. And you're not going to fight biology. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know, I talk a lot in my talks about don't be a sheep, be a sheepdog, right? And I consider myself, even as a young person, to be one who is really critical about following other people, But mostly I just always was true to myself, right? at the same time, we're not going to fight. We're not going to, I'm just done with fighting. Like, I realize I'm not going to fight. When it comes to my tastes and perceptions about life and all this stuff, I'm in a very small minority group, and you're not going to make large scale impact if you are not kind of like understanding what the masses are doing and how can you support them in getting to this, healthier place. So that's where I'm at, Beulah. Beulah says that movie, Deliverance, I would not watch because it was not done by Christians who know scripture. Even the person in the movie who was speaking in tongues was not a Christian. So it is questionable as what tongues. We had a conversation about tongues before.
That's for another time.
Yeah, because there was something about...
That can be a long debate. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That speaking in tongues can be a long debate. We would not touch that now.
But I loved Glenn Close was in the movie. I don't know if you know her, Ma.
Yeah, no, Glenn Close.
And she played a part that is so far from anything you've seen her do. And I'm like, wow, the dynamic between this mother-daughter relationship in this movie, The Deliverance, was so funny to me. I just was rolling. I thought it was hilarious. On a Mission 8 says, yeah, his eyebrows are very interesting, talking about Diddy and the way he's being portrayed by the artists. What do they call those people that stay in the courtroom and draw graphic, them?
What do they call them? Graphic,
they like literally paint them. I don't know. There has to be a name.
Yeah. There's a name for it. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting because clearly it shows, I don't know, there's a lot that can be extrapolated from the visual of it because there is something that I'm seeing in his face that to me feels very sinister and demonic. But I also, before this thing came out, but when I keep calling her Cassidy, when the Cassie thing came out, I just saw it as possibly changes that happen in the face, or maybe to even his to his basic, because I'm seeing the changes in his face that could be coming from the alcohol consumption. But also
just bones and it's sinking. Yeah, I saw that. Then there was one yesterday with tears coming down, but the tears was blood. I don't know where they come with these things.
Well, that's but when the one's coming out the judge, the way that he, I don't know who's doing it, but that one, it almost shows a level of bias, don't you think? Because I know we could all assume the worst, right? And maybe it's true, but in America, technically, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But this artist has already painted this man with this thing, which shows, I mean, that has a huge impact. I don't know how they're going to find a jury for this thing. Like, how do you find a jury when you've already...
When you already find somebody guilty.
In the court of public opinion. Exactly. Like, it's just going to be hard, But anyway, interesting. Interesting. Anyway, and Beulah, first of all, thank you so much for being here. Beulah says, God bless you both. Love your channel. I came from a Catholic believing parents, and a lot of Catholic religion has a lot of doctrines that are not in the Holy Scriptures. Yes. Again, that's a whole nother episode. And you know what? I could have my mother-in-law on here because she is very much a devout Catholic. My in-laws, they're all Catholic, actually. And I grew up in the United Methodist Church, started by John Wesley, I believe. And I think like I vibe with Wesleyan principles. I'm pretty sure he probably was racist or something. I don't know. Most of these older white men, but there's some principles that I really vibe with. And Ma, you grew up in Jamaica in
a Pentecostal church, but I became a Methodist person. I'm in the United Methodist now for over almost 30 years.
And married to a man
Seventh-day Adventist.
who grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist. And you actually follow a lot of the Seventh-day Adventist programming because they're
I
very,
love Seventh Day Adventist principle. I love it. I do.
yeah, because of their
And
nutrition
the only
focus.
reason why I didn't go to a Seventh Day Adventist church is because, and honestly, the only reason, and I'm being honest, I used to work on a Saturday. That was my best day for business
Mm,
in the beauty business. But my dear God understand. He does understand.
yeah.
Because I worship him every day. I don't wait for one day to go and worship him. I'm down on my knees every day. Thank you, Jesus. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Things, we have to flow with life. Because I remember there was a time before um, the shutdown, like in the beginning of shutdown, where he was like, no, I'm going to church. I'm bathed in the blood of Jesus. I remember, and now then you like, oh, I could worship from home and it's online and oh, this is so convenient. And then it was hard for you to even get back into church for a while. You're like, why would I go to church and be around
Because
all the people?
I felt such a connection with the Lord during COVID. I felt
Yeah.
there was such a connection that I can't even explain it. You know? Yeah, you don't have to go to church to be with the Lord. But now I realize going to church is so important because you want to go to be with the people who believe in the things that you believe. And it's so nice to go and get a nice little hug, listen to the sermon. You're able to greet and meet people after the service. And, it's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, that social connection. That's why I think spirituality is evidence-based, shown to be one of the keys to longevity, and they're really looking at people who are connected to a spiritual community in particular.
Yes.
And I think the community piece is a huge thing. Why? Because when I talk about spirituality as being one of the pillars of a holistic health for the body and the brain, right? I'm talking of it like really in the true sense of spirituality. That means in absence of religion. So no dogma, no beliefs, no leader, right? You only have like your purpose in life. Why do you exist, right? And what meaning does this life have for you? What is the purpose of you waking up every day? And that is for me my connection to source. Why God placed me on this planet. What is the purpose of my life? And that's how I'm thinking about things. So, when we even use the term spirituality, I think it can mean a variety of things for different people. And that's when I talk about it from a health perspective, that's what that means. But the community part is, evidence-based that, in terms of keeping the brain young and youthful, keeping the body healthy, this is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beulah got some really nice comments in the chat. So Beulah says, one of P. Diddy's victims, who was a teenager at the time from foster home, and she and others were used as party favors and passed around sexual relations. What was happening was evil. Yes, of course, if he is proven
Guilty, he should be punished for the crime, yes.
Absolutely. And Beulah says, it's so sad what's happening in the world, but God is really exposing truth and bringing what is the dark to light. Yes, absolutely.
Amen. Yes, because he tell you what happened in darkness will come out in the light. Yes.
Yes. And on that note, I'm excited to go back and do some homework, both of us, to find out what raw vegan dishes we can do with pumpkin. And then also maybe next week we'll be in the kitchen making one of the Halloween recipes. We'll see. So you could stand up next week, Ma.
We'll see. Okay,
We'll
we'll
see.
discuss that. We'll see.
All right.
Okay?
Well,
All
until
right.
next week, take care.